So you started a YouTube channel, but you have no clue what to do next, right? Like you started it, you put it out there. You may have even put out your first few videos, but now you're like, what do I do? What are my next steps? How do I grow it? What other things do I need in place? I got you. I have been there, done that, got the t-shirt. And in this video, we're gonna dive into what you need to do after you start a YouTube channel to really keep that ball rolling and make sure that you're putting your best foot forward. Who are you, soldier boy, tell it. Hey, howdy, hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, sup? My name's Jessica Stansberry, and I am pumped that you are here. So recently I've had several videos about starting to grow a YouTube channel, or that beginning phase of YouTube getting picked up and getting more views. And so that tells me that a lot of you are starting a YouTube channel and you want to know what comes next, what you should be doing, like all the things. And I get it. Like so many other things, starting on YouTube is just kind of the first step, right? Like there are so many other things that need to be done, but nobody really talks about what that is. They're just like, start a channel. Here's how to start a channel. Here's how to do this. Here's how to do that. And it all comes back to starting, but not going beyond the starting point, right? So since I know there's a ton of you out there wanting to, know what to do next, wanting to hit big numbers and do big things, that is what we're gonna talk about today. Okay, so one of the first things you need to do after you've started your channel is to keep the momentum going. I think sometimes we get in this headspace and we're like, okay, I am going to get the camera, I'm going to get the microphone, I'm going to get the things that I think I need, right, to start a channel, and I'm going to, do the things, and I'm gonna make my first video, maybe even my first few videos, but then we drop off. Either we lose interest or we can't keep up with the demand of what is YouTube and how often we need to put out content. But I see this so often. People will start, they'll be excited, they'll, do everything they need to do, but then they don't continue doing it. And I have to say again, I know I've said this 1,000 times, 1,000 times, YouTube is a long game. YouTube is not a short game. YouTube is a marathon, not a sprint. It will take you a while to get where you want to go. It just will. And yes, there are creators who blow up and who go viral and who have super quick success, but that is not the norm. That's the exception to the rule, not the rule for the most part. So you have to be ready to buckle in and, be here for the duration, because that's what YouTube is. YouTube is a long game. So what do I mean by this? What do I mean by keeping the momentum going? First and foremost, and probably the most important thing, is to continuously keep a pulse or a monitor on the things that you're doing on YouTube that are doing well. Continuously understand what is doing well, what is doing better than normal. And I think that people forget that this is subjective. What is doing well for you may be horrible for somebody else, and vice versa. So if you have 200 subscribers and most of your videos get, 15 views, if you have one that gets 40, that is doing better than your normal. So pay attention to that, right? Constantly paying attention to what is doing well for us and really doubling down on that strategy. And then also being really consistent. Being consistent is going to win the game, and that will keep the momentum going in the long run. Also, this is a random side tangent, but I'm getting ready to change up my office and make it more bright and colorful, like my brand is, and I'm very excited. So I don't know when it'll happen, but we're on the last few videos with this kind of setup. And I'm super excited about it. My husband's irritated because I want to paint that wall, but okay. Second thing you want to do after you've started your YouTube channel and you feel like you've kind of, got your feet under you and you're ready for next steps, is to plan out your streams of income. Okay, What do I mean by this? I mean, plan out how you're going to make money. What is your game plan? How are you going to make money with this channel, with this brand, like whatever we're looking at? Now, I would challenge you if you have just started on YouTube and you're just like, I want AdSense. I need to get to 1,000 subscribers. I need 4,000 watch time hours. To understand that that will not magically change your life, and that you need multiple streams of income, and that you need to like do more things to make money and build your brand. Like AdSense isn't the end all be all of being a creator and being a YouTuber. I've talked about this a ton before, so like, sorry to beat a dead horse. Last year in 2020, I saw, and it's not just me, like if you go into Social Blade and you look, not that Social Blade is super accurate, but if you look at like most people's channels who you feel like grew a lot in 2020, or you feel like are like big people, you will see that this was pretty well the scenario for most creators in 2020, especially those who were already on the platform. But in 2020, I had a massive spike in views, income, all the things, okay? So I had this like massive spike because what happened in 2020? Well, everybody took their booties and went home, right? And I think a lot of people were wanting to know how to start a business, wanting to know the things that I was teaching on my channel. So everybody sees this like big spike in 2020. And for me, it pretty well lasted about a year for a lot of the like metrics, if we want to like measure a lot of the metrics. And then it has started to drop off. So from March to now, which is October of 2021, March 2021 to October of 2021, I have seen a drastic and also gradual decline in all my important statistics here on YouTube. Now, in the last month, I have revamped that. I have really like done better with my schedule and creating content y'all want to see, that kind of thing. But all of this to say, at my peak, if you'll go back and watch those videos where I'm telling you my income and I'm showing you what I made from YouTube, at my peak, I was between like $3,000 and $4,000 a month from AdSense, and that was before I hit 100,000 subscribers. So that was around that like 80, 90,000 subscriber mark. And honestly, I'd have to go back and watch those videos to know what my view number looked like at that point, or we could go into analytics, but that's not the point of this video. But essentially, I was like bringing home $3,000 to $4,000 a month from my YouTube channel at that time for about a year. And now, well, as of like last month, before I really like dove into my strategy and am trying to grow that a little bit more, I was making about a third of that. And the good thing is I have never relied on AdSense. I was being paid $1,000 a month from YouTube for about 9 months before I even realized it. And I know that sounds insane, but YouTube AdSense was never the goal for me. It's always been my own products, affiliates, like things that make me money that I can track and I can, be in control of. And AdSense is kind of just the cherry on top. So for me, having my AdSense money be a third of what it was for a year, it's okay. Like, it doesn't bother me. It's not hurting anything. It's not hurting my brand. It's not hurting my business. But if that's all you care about, if you only care about AdSense and like that is it, then you're going to be sorely disappointed. Like, you're going to be like, oh, wow, I made 46 cents this month. So after you've started your channel, you really need to understand, where are you going to make money, and come up with a plan for where that's going to be. Like, where are you going to make money? How are you going to make money? How are you going to make this all work outside of AdSense? Like, just let that be the cherry on top. Okay. Now, the next thing is more of like a mindset, and it ties into everything else we've talked about and everything we're going to talk about. And that is to get in the mindset of a brand, of a business owner, not just of a YouTuber or just of I'm putting out content, because there is a different mindset that goes with that. And that is the difference between being really like worried about AdSense and like, oh my gosh, this is happening to me, and building a brand. So understanding that the whole point of you being on YouTube is to build a brand. Whether you have thought of it that way or not, it is. You're trying to be a creator. As a creator, you have to build a brand. You are the brand. Like, this is the brand, right? So get in the mindset of being a brand, not just being a YouTuber. And to lead super smoothly into the next thing I think you need to do after you start a channel is every brand needs a website. Now, hear me out. I don't think you need some like intricate, like insanely crazy website. I think you just need a place for people to land. I think you need a place for people to maybe go get a freebie if you're offering something to build your email list, or to learn more about you, or to find your other platforms. Because sometimes YouTube is very like platform centric, and if we can send people to another place, we can kind of get them down other avenues. And having a website is key because I mean, that's your online real estate, right? Like, you own that website, and you are going to be able to, do what you need to do and make plans and make money and send people affiliate links and make pages how you need to and how you want to. So I do YouTube audits. And by the way, if you ever want to purchase a YouTube audit, the link is always in my description, but I do YouTube audits for people, and almost always it is people who want to be YouTubers, right? Inevitably, something I'm gonna tell them is, like, YouTube could go away. You need to understand that YouTube is not your online real estate. Yes, you are renting some space there for now, but like, that's not your home, And I'm inevitably always telling them that they need to promote freebies and grow their email list and send people to a website and things like that where they can get back in touch with them. So you have to remember that you have to have an online home. You are only renting space on YouTube, Instagram, blah, blah, blah. And, if you ever have like big dreams of, being on the news or speaking at conferences or whatever, almost everybody is going to ask for your website. So it's more of like a badge of honor and a thing that needs to be done for you to take yourself seriously and for other people too. And if you've been around this channel for a while, you know that I am a big fan of WordPress, of self-hosted WordPress websites, not, sites that are literally, again, rented space on the internet, because you own your site when it goes through WordPress. And while I'm here, I might as well talk about today's sponsor, because they're one of my favorite ways to build a website that actually works and actually is going to benefit you. This video is sponsored by Elementor, and let me tell you about Elementor. Actually, let me tell you about my experience with Elementor. So I was a web designer. If you are new here, I was a web designer for about 5 years of my career. So from 2010 to 2015, 2011 to 2016, somewhere in there, I was a web designer, and I can tell you right now without a shadow of a doubt that you should not be building websites on things like Squarespace or GoDaddy or Wix or Weebly or any of those, because we run into the same problem. It's still rented real estate on the internet, And so as a web designer, obviously I can preach that because I can build a website, right? Of course, that's what I can do because I can build a website. And so it's not hard for me to use self-hosted WordPress. Well, inevitably, I always am met from people, who are like, but I don't know how to code and WordPress is confusing. And I will always recommend Elementor. So Elementor is like a drag and drop builder. And there were some other drag and drop builders out in the world when kind of I first started and when I was really at the peak of my web design business, but I hated them all because they were not any good. And they really you relinquished a lot of your creative control, but not with Elementor, y'all. Holy bananas. When they reached out and wanted to sponsor a video, I was like, yes, absolutely yes, because I love them so much, okay? So Elementor, again, drag and drop builder. You can build your entire website with Elementor. You literally drag it, drop it, make it look how you want it, change it for mobile, change it for desktop. It is so seamless. I use Elementor to build all of my sales pages. So any courses I create or funnels I create are all built with Elementor. I also use Elementor to build out any kind of opt-in pages. So going back to what I was just saying, when I'm telling you to like have a freebie and get people to your email list and get people to your website, Elementor can build out those pages for you. You just hook them to whatever your email service is and you've got beautiful pages. And so with Elementor, it is so much easier to have a self-hosted WordPress website, which is better for Google. Google likes WordPress best, okay? Like they just do. It is better for you because you maintain ownership. It is better for SEO, which is kind of the same thing as Google, but I wanted to make sure I mentioned that here. Having a self-hosted WordPress website is better than anything else out there. And honestly, until Elementor came on the scene, it was hard for just the everyday person to have a WordPress site because you have to install themes and like this has to happen and that has to happen. But Elementor has made it so flippin' easy to like build your own site, build your opt-in pages, build sales pages, whatever you need to build. And honestly, if you signed up for Elementor today, which you can sign up for free, I'll make sure I link all of the links to Elementor below. There is a free option, there's a paid option. I'll link them both in the description. But if you signed up for Elementor today, you could literally have a one-page website up and ready to rock and roll in like a few hours. Like it's not gonna take you much time to get this done. So I was super excited to integrate Elementor into this video because I truly believe you need a website as one of your next steps after you start a YouTube channel, and Elementor is like the perfect tool to be able to do that in the right way. So again, if you want to try out Elementor for free or the paid version, I will link both of those below in the description. So make sure you go check those out. And thank you again to Elementor for sponsoring this video. Okay, I'll be honest, that tangent about websites like really brought me back to my OG days here on YouTube. And this was like what I started YouTube with, was web design tips and website tips and creator tips and entrepreneur tips that had to do with website tips. So I don't know, that was kind of a fun little like tangent for me to go on, but I truly do believe that you need a website, okay? And again, please understand when I tell you, it doesn't have to be fancy, it doesn't have to be crazy, it doesn't have to be anything insane, it just needs to be a place to lead people to, and a place for you to be able to have like pages for opt-ins or sales pages or things like that whenever you get to that point in your business. And please remember that your YouTube channel is a business. This is a business. You started a business. You did. Absolutely 100% you started a business. So if I just said it's important for your business and you're like, I don't have a business, I have a YouTube channel, you have a business. We have two more things I want to talk about. And these two things are so important. So important once you've started. So important the whole time in your journey, honestly. One, after you've started this YouTube channel, you need to get really good at trend hacking. I have done a whole video about trend hacking on here before, but essentially trend hacking yourself, other creators, and just trends and YouTube in general is going to skyrocket your growth. So if you are looking for your first 100, 1,000, 100,000, like whatever subscribers, trend hacking is the way to get there, okay? So I'll make sure I link my trend hacking video below in the description, but essentially the like basics there, you need to understand when you see that something is taking off in your industry for your ideal viewer. So remember, I've said this 1,000 times, but remember that YouTube's job, like the algorithm's job, the algorithm gets a lot of hate because people are like, oh, the algorithm's out to get me, which is absolutely not true. But their job is to pair the right viewer with the right content. That is it. That is YouTube's algorithm's job, okay? So your job as a creator is to feed content to the monster, right? So they can constantly say, oh, this content this viewer would like, this content this viewer would like, and so on and so forth. And so if you start to see that, you know, this channel over here who has a similar viewer to you is having success with a certain type of video or a certain topic or subject or whatever, then it would behoove you to trend hack that and throw similar content at the content monster that is YouTube. Same thing with your own stuff picking up, which I talked about a little bit in the, first tip I shared, which was to keep the momentum going. You have got to get really good at knowing what content YouTube wants you to put out for your ideal viewer or for the viewer that you want to have, okay? So you may not have those viewers yet, right? But get really good at understanding where you want to go and how to get there and picking up on trends and tapping into them. The people who go viral see a trend happen by other creators, not necessarily themselves, but they'll see like a trend happening, right? Like all of these other creators in my industry are creating videos like this, or this one other creator in my industry created this video and it's going viral. They will see that happen. They will tap into that, aka create similar content to give the content monster. Their content will start to get picked up because they did everything right, and then they will continue to feed the monster what it wants. That's when you see people go massively viral and grow like crazy. So if that's something you want to do, go massively viral and grow like crazy, which I feel like you all do, you need to get good at that. And to round out this video on a similar but a little bit different note, you need to become a constant student of YouTube, like constant. You need to constantly be learning. You need to constantly stay up to date on what is working, what is not working. You need to constantly play and experiment and learn, right? Like you are never done learning. None of us are, And if you think like, oh, I'm doing everything right, I guarantee you're not. I will never, ever stop saying that. Like if you think like, oh, I'm doing everything right. No, you're not. No, you're not, Susan. You're not doing everything right, I promise, okay? So be a constant student of YouTube. Like constantly learn, constantly change, constantly improve, constantly do tests, constantly do all of this stuff and make yourself a constant student of YouTube and you will win this game, okay? So when you're a constant student of YouTube, you know how to trend hack because you're a student and you learned this, right? You're consistent and you start to incorporate streams of income outside of AdSense, but also AdSense later once you're monetized and all of that. You start to incorporate streams of income and you have a way to communicate with your people outside of YouTube, which is a lot of where your website comes in handy. You just built a successful business from putting videos on the internet. And that's the dream, right? Like, or at least for a lot of people, that's the dream. So hopefully that was helpful if you're looking for next steps after you have started a YouTube channel, because I get it, it can be intimidating. It's like, I started this, I put those videos up, now what do? I totally get it. So hopefully this is a helpful list to get you started in the right direction. And thank you again to Elementor. I'm not playing, y'all. I'm not playing. Y'all know I have talked about how I'm not doing a ton of sponsors anymore because I really want to make sure that, the content I'm giving you is so good and that y'all are enjoying the content. And I jumped so hard when they said we would love to sponsor a video because it is that good. And I knew this video was on my calendar and I knew I had create a website on it. And I'm like, you know what? This is perfect. So thank you again to Elementor for sponsoring this video. If you want to try them for free or their paid versions, the links are both below in the description. And I'll also leave a fun link to some pages that I've created with Elementor because I feel like that, that can be helpful. Like, oh, okay, you can do that, you can do this. But basically anything you want to create, you can, in a drag and drop, easy to use format. So thank you again, Elementor. And if y'all have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Until next time, bye y'all.